The big Brit who has spray painted his cultural and country alignments throughout his life, be it Jamaica or the Canadian national team, and now introduced out of England. And Mercer, right from the start, showing some aggression, John.
That's what he needs to do. I mean, I think in the Tommy Morrison fight, Morrison showed that you can't lay back with Lennox. Be a little bit more physical and work a little bit harder early in the fight to get Lennox worn down.
Bull rushed him moments ago. Lennox goes back to the jab. I think Mercer is trying to put forth the attitude and have the disposition that Morrison lacked. Just look at the physical makeup of the two guys, and you can kind of see the landscape and the strategy. 6 pounds, and he knows exactly the fight he needs to fight. Of course, we say that, but still keeping in mind that many times the shorter guy can still have success with the jab.
Right. The key is, like, a guy like Lennox has a type of jab where he tries to land it from the outside. He tries to pick you with it. A guy like Mercer should throw the jab even if he doesn't land it. He should battering ram his way in. If he tried to have a high percentage of jabs, it probably wouldn't work for him.
Comes in well behind the jab. 2 right hands upstairs. Went downstairs with a right hand to the body.
I want to see the guy work hard on the inside and try to wear Lennox down. You can't win quickly. You've got to plan for a longer fight where you can wear the big man down.
A year ago, when Ray Mercer also started off well against Evander Holyfield, he would fade in the second half of that fight, go on to lose a unanimous decision. But this is exactly the start that he was looking for. Came in well, utilized right hands to the body on the inside in the final minute, and time again is taking the fight to the bigger man. So a good start for merciless Ray Mercer here at the end of round 1.
Too relaxed, too excited, okay? Settle down just a little bit. That's all you got to do. Take your time. You can see what he's doing. Jab a little harder with your jab. Your corner a little bit more. But just settle down. That's all you got to do. A little tight. That's all. Everything has to fall in place.
All right, just don't let him set up. Keep him going.
Lennox Lewis came in at 247 pounds for this fight against Mercer. Back in September of '94, just a year and a half ago, he was 238 against McCall. When we saw him in his last fight in October against Tommy Morrison, he was 241. Do you like the way he's carrying and feels at 247?
Well, it looked to me in the corner there, he looked a little bit winded. It looked like he was trying to stay calm, but he was also at the same time trying to catch his breath. He didn't want to maybe show how tired he was. That kind of surprised me because he didn't do that. He didn't appear to do that at all against Morrison in the whole fight. You're a little tight and the muscles aren't ready for that. And he might not have expected such a fast pace from Mercer.
That right hand from Lewis was blocked, and here comes Ray Mercer back to the inside. And you can see Mercer very much willing to throw that jab. The shorter man, yes, but still a very effective tool. Doubles it up there and gets into that inside by doing so. Lennox now very sharp jab, backed it up with a right hand, then a left hand to the body, and a good combination.
It looks like Lennox just landed a pretty good right hand, and it doesn't even seem to phase Ray Mercer. Lennox say to himself, wow, this guy is very strong.
Let him know he's in a fight, like he did with that right hand, and then a left hand scored, and now putting that head right into the chest of Lewis while he swings with lefts and rights.
See, he's not waiting.
For Mercer.
Right. Oh.
Another right hand comes in.
He's got to keep this going. Don't let Lennox regroup, because that makes Lennox's mind as well as his body work harder than he's used to.
Lennox back to the jab. That walking stick has served him well in the course of the past few years since the loss to McCall. Ray Mercer, you can hear the chants of USA, USA here at MSG. USA, and it's been all about Ray. Take a look back at some of the action from that second round, John.
I think the jab, Mercer's jab, is a heavy, strong, jarring type of jab, and I think it carried him. I think he won the first 2 rounds.
Scully, light heavyweight contender. Round 3, scheduled for 10. It's been very interesting what's been happening in the career in the fight with Tyson, and worry more about an inspired Ray Mercer here at Madison Square Garden.
You know, the crazy thing about boxing is so much of it is mental, more than people realize. And so he stepped his game up just mentally as well as physically, psychologically. He knows, I mean, what a win. Beating those other guys wasn't, you know, dynamic in the world frame.
Means in the psyche of Lennox Lewis. Ray Mercer has only been down once in his career. That was in his last fight last year against Evander Holyfield. How will that play into the circumstances of this fight?
It could be huge, because the way you think when you're in a fight isn't the way you think in the dressing room or affected by it. You know, you begin questioning yourself. And the best of the fighters in the world do that. So, you know, his toughness, Ray's toughness could be a big factor in this fight.
Triple jab from Lewis, then a right hand,
Did
and
you
Mercer
see that?
comes right back.
Lennox hit him with a right hand right on the forehead. Nothing happened.
Nothing at all. In fact, all it drew was return fire from Ray Mercer. Good fight at MSG.
I think Ray won the first 3 rounds, and Lennox, you know, he's got to begin soon, if not already, to feel a sense of, you know, I better kick in gear, I better change something here, because, you know, I mean, he's got to win the next couple rounds to get back in it.
There's a right hand from Mercer. Good combination from Lennox Lewis. He started off with a left hook. Mercer back to the jab, let him know, hey, I'm still here.
Ray to come back on him. Like Lennox lands, then Ray lands.
Oh, how about that combination? He went right to the body, right uppercut, came back with the left hand, finished it with the right hand. That's the beauty and the experience and the well-roundedness of Lennox Lewis.
See, now
Mercer going belly to belly, toe to toe right there on the inside. There's the same combination. It starts with that body shot and then turns into the uppercut. And a right hand from Lennox Lewis.
Good shot.
So Lewis off to a good start. Now here comes Mercer with a couple of right hands.
Go ahead, Ray. Go ahead, Ray.
He's got to pick up that jab, because he already knows, Ray knows that he's got to put a big effort forth. So Lennox has to hold him off with the jab. If he doesn't, he could let that big lead go. So there he goes.
Fired off the uppercut again. It missed again. Mercer fires off 2, 3 uppercuts of his own. Now fires back with a series of left and rights. Ray Mercer just walking forward, taking it right to Lennox Lewis.
He's blowing the rounds.
Uppercut by Lewis. Body shot with the left hand. Mercer comes back. There is something about a heavyweight fight at MSG that eventually brings it out of guys. And Ray Mercer and Lennox Lewis brought it right here in this 4th round. Oh my, what a round. War in that 4th round.
Well, mentally, if not on the scorecards, Lennox got himself back in that fight. You know, now Ray Mercer's seen something he hasn't seen. He's seen that hunger and desire and probably extra power from Lennox. He's seen that Lennox is willing to stand up to him. Like right there, he's digging in, and when he gets stung, Lennox is coming back. He's not taking it. You know what I mean? He's giving it back, and that's a big round for Lennox.
Tremendous 4th round between Lennox Lewis and Ray Mercer. Now, the cut lip is something that is not new to Ray Mercer. It will open up. Well, guess what? It has.
See, me personally, I don't think a cut like over the eye would be a little different. But I don't think a cut in his mouth, a fighter doesn't care about that.
No, not at all. The only concern there is if they're sucking down a lot of blood, be it in the nose area, the mouth area, and starts cutting your wind.
This is, to me, is going to be a very pivotal round, because they finished up with like a Hagler-Hearns type of thing. So the next round, somebody has to stay with that. They've got to show that they've still got something left in the tank for the next round.
Warning from Arthur, made a little south.
I think it looks like they're both trying to take a little break here. They're allowing each other to do so.
In the 4th round, probably took a lot out of the gas tank for both guys. You made a great point earlier in talking about the potential conditioning issues with Lennox Lewis.
Trying to regather themselves, but one of them needs to do a little bit more than the other, and I think Lennox is doing a little bit more right now.
Ray Mercer, of course, no stranger to 12 rounds until that fourth round when Lewis's power shots just wowed everyone. There's a right hand from Mercer.
Break, step back.
Worked with the double jab from Mercer, and he goes back to it. Been very impressed with Mercer's ability to jab tonight. End of 5. He needs to order up a little more offense to deal with the persistent and determined Ray Mercer. Remember, Mercer a year ago take hold here at MSG. Jab from
a little more, being a little more taking the initiative, and stays with that jab and kind of takes advantage of Mercer slowing down just a little bit.
So, John Scully, on your scorecard, now some close rounds in there, but you would have it 3 rounds to 2 Ray Mercer after Mercer's good start, and Lewis coming out strong, especially in that 4th round.
Right. I would say Lennox, and then the 5th, was back and forth, but I would give it to Lennox, so 3-2.
Good combination from Lennox Lewis. Very nice work with the right hand. He tests the uppercut once again. So Lennox Lewis now starting to hit his stride as he comes.
So I would say, if you're backing up in this fight, you're losing. No doubt, because you're not a slick boxer. You're not going to outbox Lennox Lewis.
That was something that Tommy Morrison learned the hard way last October. And now Mercer, once again, getting right into that kitchen and firing it up. Lefts and rights, a couple of right hands actually backed up Lennox Lewis. Mercanti Jr., the son of one of the all-time greats, Arthur Mercanti. His shining moment, of course, the fight of the century in March. Lennox Lewis drove his head downward. Wild uppercut misses.
See, Lennox is getting a little sloppy with the uppercut. He's better at it when he's inside and he digs down with it.
Thank you, sir.
Well, I think, see, now here comes Mercer. Now he could have stole around with that. He needs to extend those bursts. He's saving it up probably a little bit too much, and if he has a good burst like that, but Lennox wins the rest of the round in a boring fashion, Lennox could still get it. So he's got to dig down a little bit more, maybe twice a round instead of once a round.
That 6th round from Emmanuel Stewart in the corner of Lennox Lewis. We talked about the psychology of Stewart early on, telling Lewis he had just won a round. Now he says to him, hey, you're behind on points.
Right, I like that. I mean, in this situation, because he might very well be, and he's obviously got a guy that wants to fight. Sometimes you come into a fight and you're not so up for it. Mercer's up tonight.
No doubt about it. Lennox Lewis probably never thought he'd be hearing Manny Stewart saying you're behind on points, and simply just needs to get through and do what he's supposed to do in order to stay available to cash in potentially against Mike.
And I don't like to see that. I don't like when guys show too much respect like that. But after a round like that, they couldn't help it. But Mercer's holding a little bit more on the inside. Well, now he's not.
Well, not at all.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden it was a talked about fighting in spots, picking that burst. If he could just be a little more consistent instead of letting opportunities like this exist, be willing to work a little more, and maybe that'll make the difference in a close fight. And with such a golden opportunity, you have to take advantage of it.
He's getting a little fatigued most likely, and the thing is, in rounds like this, a little bit more effort could sway the judges easily.
Big uppercut from... And now let's see if Lennox Lewis can finish up strong. Looks good. Nice combination. Couple of right hands went to the body, and probably enough to take the round for Lennox.
Break. Step back.
Gotta push yourself. Get off first. Don't wait till he punches. If you get off first, you got these next 3 rounds. You got to win all of them to win a decision, okay?
The guy's tired. Okay? Been here for...
Urgency in both quarters for both men.
I felt like at the end of the last round, Mercer, as a reaction, touch gloves in a very dramatic way. And from my experience, I would say that's not a good thing for him, you know, to touch gloves. Like if he was pounding on Lennox, I don't think he would touch gloves after the round.
In other words, in a way, he turned to Lennox Lewis and said, yes, you got me there.
Exactly. That's exactly it. And human beings, not just fighters, but human beings do that instinctively. And that's a crack. That's not good.
Trying to target that right hand now is only 10. No belts on the line here tonight at Madison Square Garden. Mercer now finding a little something early on. Many rounds were close. Early on, the perception here ringside was that Ray Mercer was in control here, specifically in the first 3 rounds. If he keeps eating uppercuts like that, it won't be the case. Then Lewis got things together in the middle of this fight with a sensational, warlike 4th round and has been in control and showing off the power punches. But this is the 4th fight going back to May last year of 1995 that he's been with Manny Stewart. The first fight where things haven't gone so easily. So as we enter the deeper water, still some new hurdles to overcome for Lennox.
I think fatigue is probably setting in.
On the break there, Mercer fired off a right hand.
Let's go, come on.
Left hook there for a moment.
Fatigue looks like it's grabbed a hold of both of them at this point. And that's what professional boxing is all about. Who can deal with fatigue better? And, you know, at this point, right at this very moment, I'm not sure who's dealing better.
The decision to push yourself past the point. Who will be willing to do this?
It's a close round. Lennox should dig down within himself. He's already on his toes. He's got to get that good jab snapping. Take advantage of the fact that Ray doesn't seem to have that spark at this moment.
Uppercut on the inside from Lewis. There's a nice right hand from Lennox Lewis here in the final minute of this 8th round. Mercer needs to show something in order to prove that he's worthy. Aside from hitting on the break.
You know, it could be a thing where Ray mentally is trying to save up whatever he has left for the last 2. Maybe he wants to have a strong finish.
There will be 6 minutes to go between Lewis and Mercer. Man John Scully, I am Joe Tessitore. And John, I want to get your take on what we heard after that 8th round in both corners. In the corner of Ray Mercer, they were saying, he's more tired than you, pointing over to Lennox Lewis. In the corner of Lennox Lewis, they're looking at Mercer saying, make him use his legs. He's more tired than you. Who's telling the truth here?
I think Ray's probably a little more tired, but you know, all corners do that. That's a common ploy, you know, to give your guy that less, you know, it's a mental thing where you want the guy to feel like, if he feels like maybe quitting or easing back, you give him some hope.
Lewis wouldn't need hope at this point in the fight. Winning 3 straight, coming off a very impressive knockout win. We're into the 9th round here, a full 8.5 rounds of Ray Mercer.
To throw more punches. Against Morrison, Lennox had his way in the sense that he could pick his shots and throw when he wanted to throw. Now he's being forced to. Mercer's chance is to make Lennox fight him back and catch him in the middle of those punches, because he's not going to stay on the outside. If Lennox decides to jab like he's doing here, then it's going to be 6 jabs to 1 right hand.
Lennox up on his toes for a moment, utilizing that jab, circling, and then Mercer takes it right into his chest again, not firing anything off, though, in doing so. Tries a right hand, that misses. For the most part, this has been a nondescript round, though, compared to some of the other rounds we've seen, John.
I was going to say, it's an up-for-grabs round right here. One guy has got to show that desperation. I mean, this is a fight that could push them towards millions. They have to use that in their head to push them through the last 30 seconds.
Come on, break. Step back. Step
One
back.
of those rounds that could go either way on these close judges' scorecards.
We're going to take this round to win this round to win the fight. You got to win it. You can't win it by moving. You got to let the punches go. You can't take them home. Let them go, Lennox. You're holding on to them. Let them fly. Let the shots go.
So the 10th and final round, moments away for Ray Mercer. What a golden opportunity he has in front of him. 10th and final round. Arthur Mercanti even gets in on the act saying, who wants it? He knows how tight it could be on the scorecards. The crowd here knows it. They've been rooting on their American interest all night long. They want the former Army sergeant and U.S. gold medalist to upset the Big Brit. John Scully, how did you score it through 9 rounds?
I would say Lennox came back and he's got it up 6-3.
Very interesting, because you gave Mercer the first 3 rounds. Now, some of those rounds have been close, but yes, it does look like in the middle rounds, Lewis pressed the gas pedal a little bit and jumped out in front. Still, that 9th round could determine a lot, depending on which way you swayed. You gave it to Lennox.
Right, here's the thing. The first 3 I thought were clearly for Ray, so there's no disputing that. But the next ones I had for Lennox, I happened to have for Lennox. But there was a couple in there that could have went the other way. So in scoring like this, it could easily be an even fight, or Ray might even be ahead in some people's minds.
It has that feel. It's that kind of fight. Lennox missed with the uppercut, had a short right hand on the inside, and now pushing down behind the head of Ray Mercer. This will be a critical 10th round here.
And the only thing that's stopping these 2 guys from going for a big knockout is apparently fatigue. You know, because you would think they would both have a sense of I have to knock this guy out, because it's good to lose whatsoever by throwing bombs, even if he looks bad doing it.
Break!
On that break, as he was pushing down on the back. Lewis now, no jab there. Both men fall in. Of this fight, Mercer with the jab. Lewis backing up. And once again, they tie it.
He's got to risk losing badly to win big.
Good double jab there from Ray Mercer. The right hand missed as Lewis was able to get his left paw up and deflect it. Mercer charges in again, but then ties up.
He's got to go for big shots.
Could say the same for Lewis. Yeah. Both men may regret the way these final 3 minutes played out when they look back.
I think Mercer needs to be a little more desperate, because Lennox is the bigger name, the guy that was expected to win right from the start.
That's it. They go the distance. Both men raise their hands. The crowd gives a good standing ovation. John Scully, how did you score that final round?
The final round was kind of a hard round to score. You could look at it different ways. I probably edged it to Lennox, but now that sounds, now I guess I have it 7-3 for Lennox, but a lot of those rounds were close, so I could see it being a much closer fight. But you know, I think Lennox did more.
You have it 7-3 for Lennox Lewis, but you have said, hey, there are a good 2 to 3 rounds in there that were vague, that were close. Specifically, really, rounds 9 and 10 are the 2 rounds that you would point out.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we go to the scorecards here at Madison Square Garden, how about a round of applause for these 2 heavyweights, 2 Olympic gold medal champions that came here to fight tonight. We go to the scorecards. Melvina Lathan scores the bout 95 even. Luis Rivera scores the bout 96-95. George Colon scores the bout 96-94. For the winner on a split decision, Lennox.